You are listening to the Spiritual Warrior Coach with Barbara Savin, the podcast for discovering how powerful your wisdom, compassion, and courage is. Get ready to join Barbara and her guests as they explore and offer you advice on how to reclaim your power, your energy, and your authentic self. And now, here's the host of the show, Barbara Savin.
Well, thank you for joining me today, and welcome to the Spiritual Warrior Coach podcast. I am your host, Barbara Savin, and I am here to help you reclaim your power, your energy, and your authentic self. You know, I am a certified clinical and medical hypnotherapist, Reiki master and teacher, energy healing specialist, life coach, and best-selling author of Gentle Energy Touch, The Beginner's Guide to Hands-on Healing. You know, I have been helping my clients for over 35 years. The older I get, the more wisdom seems to come through. So isn't it time that you believe in yourself? You know, your mind is going to provide you with your greatest challenges in life because it's so very, very powerful. So let's use it for positive thinking, creating harmony, balance, peace, love, happiness, and anything else that your heart desires. Because one day the world will tap you on your shoulder and say, this is your time to shine. And speaking about shining, boy, I have some shining guests today. Hello, Courtney. How are you?
Hello, I'm good, Barbara. How are you?
Good. You know, it's a beautiful day here in California.
It is. It's sunny, no rain.
Mm-hmm. You know, sun is shining. Yeah, it's beautiful. So let me tell my listeners about you. Okay. Courtney Goff, she is an author. She is a part-time yogi and full-time hopeless romantic. She's just 23 years old, but has been told by many that she is truly an old soul. And she currently published her book, Stop Painting Red Flags White. You're Not Crazy. And this book is very close to her heart and takes you through the twists and turns of her life in love, relationships, and battling self-confidence. And Courtney chose to bring this book to life in hopes to let others know that you are never alone in your feelings and that it is okay to be vulnerable. In fact, it's beautiful. And Courtney, she is an empath at heart and always cares deeply about those around her. And her motto is, life is short, so just do what makes you happy. What a beautiful motto, right?
Thank you. Yeah,
it's like
fun to live by.
Yes, you know, and I tell myself also, you know, it's so important to live life because, you know, once that moment leaves us, we can't get it back.
No, and you don't know what tomorrow brings. So you just got to be your authentic self and just go for it.
I know. So you're 23 years old. God, I remember those days. They were very long time ago.
I tell you, I feel like I'm 50 though. It's the weirdest thing.
Well, you know, it's like anything else. You know, we go through a lot in our lives, and like for yourself, I mean, we've known each other, I think, for about 5 years.
Yeah, a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a while. And, you know, I know, you know, it's like anything else. You've had your ups and downs. And
you've been through it all with me.
Yes, I have.
Really have.
And the thing is, I know you were writing the book many years ago.
Yeah.
You know, so what actually made you journal this and then create a beautiful book from it?
Yeah, you know, so from the very beginning, I think I started writing when I was like 15 or 16. And I never had the intentions of making it a book. I solely just did it because it helped me release the things that I was thinking or feeling. And poetry just kind of like came about and I just kind of went with it. You know, there was no proper way to do it. I just let it all come out because I didn't think anyone was going to read it. So I felt like I could be vulnerable and be very honest with how I felt in that moment. Not that I necessarily felt that way the next day or the next hour, but in that moment when I needed to release it, I would write. And then a couple of years ago when I shared it with you, you know, I thought, I wonder if other people feel this way. You know, I wonder if people have gone through similar things that I've gone through. And just through asking people and creating deeper connections, I found that actually a lot of people do journal, and a lot of people have gone through the same things that I've gone through and struggle with the same things I've struggled with. So I thought to myself, why not turn it into a book and just see who it reaches and see what they take away from it, whether it's, oh my gosh, Courtney gets me, like I'm not alone in those feelings, or wow, maybe that's how my significant other felt when I did that, or maybe that's what's going through other people's mind. Maybe I need to be more, considerate and care for others a little bit more, and remember that everybody's going through something. A lot of people just don't talk about it, and I think it's important to talk about it. So for me, like, to put it out there was kind of like, all right, I'm letting this out and letting the whole world see me, the worst sides of me, right? In hopes to validate somebody else's feelings,
Which is important because a lot of people feel the way you felt.
Yeah.
And they're not able to express themselves. And then reading a book such as yours, with all these beautiful poems of a heartbreak and happiness. I mean, it's all mixed into everything there.
Totally.
The good thing about it is that they can say, wow, this has happened to me.
Yeah.
And she's so brave to put this into words.
Yeah, no, it was a lot. I was scared. I was like, oh my gosh, like I think the most vulnerable part was knowing that my family was going to read it. It's like I share a lot with them, but to know, like, oh my gosh, in that moment, she was really struggling. Like, where was she? Yeah.
Do you think they understand you better now that they've read it?
Yeah, no, 100%. And even people have come to me, friends and acquaintances, and they're like, I never would have known like you were going through something like that. Like, that was so brave of you to share. And I'm like, I just want people to know, like, you're not alone. Like, everybody's going through something. A lot of us just hide it better than others,
And it doesn't matter what age, I mean, you can be, 12 years old or, in your 80s and experience, a lot of different, emotions.
Yeah.
And what beautiful thing is that here you are at this age, you put something out there that people can read and say, wow, I've had this happen to me too.
Yeah.
I'm not alone.
Oh yeah. That lowest low, I think we've all been there in our lives. And if not, we might have that at one point in our lives. And it can just be something good to refer back to,
Well, yeah. And it's important, especially for teenagers, to see that these things happen. And, besides not being alone, maybe you need to understand yourself a little better. So,
yeah. And acknowledge those feelings. I think a lot of us, and I've been guilty of doing it myself, is shoving it down because you don't want to feel it and you don't want to have to work through those feelings, because it's hard work and it's not fun. But what comes out on the other side of it is beautiful, and you're more clear on what you want and what you don't want, and who you are as a person. And that ultimately attracts your person and attracts better into your life. If you're not willing to go through those things, you're going to stay stagnant and stay where you are. And you don't want to do that. Easier said than done, but if you can work through it, you should really try to.
well, you have to, just not allow the fear or the hurt stop you. And to say, all right, it may feel really uncomfortable,
Oh yeah.
but I'm going to move through this so that it's away from me, and then move forward, with a better understanding and a better life, hopefully for them. Now, I know you said you were like, you were lacking self-confidence. I can't imagine.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. So what was that all about in your life?
Yeah. So from a young age, I think I was diagnosed when I was 11 or 12. I have something called body dysmorphia, which basically means that the way I view myself is extremely distorted and altered. And that created a lot of, self-esteem issues, confidence, body image. And I really struggled with that. And it affected my relationship with myself. And it affected my relationship with others. It ruined relationships that I didn't want ruined at the time. I was literally at war with my mind, myself. And that's a hard place to be because you can't run away from it. It's an everyday thing. So it's like, it's just going to keep yapping away and be there until you nip it in the bud and, say, this is a problem. It's affecting my relationships with others. It's affecting me every day. It's affecting my work. You don't want that. You want it to be your relationship with yourself to be healthy so that in turn your relationships with others are healthy.
When did you see things start changing for you where you are able to love yourself and your whole self for who you are?
Yeah, well, that journey, I would say for me, began about 6 years ago, right around the time that I met you. I was really going through it. I had self-sabotaged and I was in a relationship where I was madly in love. And it became a long distance relationship. And that was really hard for me. Some people are meant for that and some people aren't. And it just wasn't for me. But I loved that person so much and wanted to work out so bad with him that I kept holding on. But then the insecurities crept in and it was like I held on harder, and it pushed him away. And I think losing him due to the low self-esteem and the accusing and all those things really hit me when he left me. And I was like, something's got to change, something's got to give. It's time to stop losing yourself in relationships and in men and start finding yourself, learning to like you and learning to love you for who you are, and focusing more so what's on the inside. I think I've always been so focused on my exterior, but I've always been very confident in my interior, which is great, right? But the exterior is important too. You're made by God, you're a beautiful being. Accept it and appreciate it for what it is, because it's not going to look the same in 60 years. It's not. We all evolve and change. And so at the end of the day, what matters is what you have in here and the way you treat yourself and the way you treat others. And so when he ended it with me, that was a breaking point for me. I was like, enough is enough. I'm going to start this journey of self-love and it's going to freaking suck and it's going to be hard, but I'm going to do it because I want a healthy relationship with myself and with others. And I'm going to do whatever it takes. And it took me probably 3.5 years. It took a long time.
Wow. So
very long time.
What was the first thing that you did for yourself to make you see that you're worthy?
Honestly, I started doing things for myself. I think I am very empathetic and kind and giving, and I was always pouring from an empty cup. I was always giving to others, and I was never giving to myself. I was like a last resort, forget you. And I think when you're constantly giving to others and you're not giving to yourself, you feel really depleted after. So one of the first things I started doing was I got into yoga. That deep meditation, you're focusing on a pose, it forces you to get out of your own head. Mm-hmm. And that's what I was struggling with, the way that my mind viewed my body, in my relationship with men. And I started yoga. I got into crystals because they're very healing. And then I remember I was working at Coffee Bean as a barista. And I remember one of my regulars came in, Julie.
Oh yeah, Julie.
she knew I was struggling. We would talk about our love lives and things we've been through. And you really get to know these people when they come in every day. And she was like, Courtney, have you ever tried energy healing? And I was like, I did once a long time ago and I really liked it. She's like, I have the perfect woman for you. And it was you, Barbara. Mm-hmm. And that really helped me along my journey. The energy healing, healing the chakras, coming into alignment, and just even talking to you, releasing it and putting it out there, getting advice from someone who knows what they're doing and how to help you. That's the biggest step, in my opinion, is getting that third party's view and perspective of things, talking to your elders. They've gone through most likely more experiences than I have at my age, right? So they might be able to help you. It's using your resources for sure.
Without a doubt. Yeah, because we all need help. I mean, even from
Oh, yeah.
myself occasionally,
No, we're constantly growing and changing, there's always something that can be tweaked or worked on.
Exactly. And it's okay to say I need someone to help me.
And
It just
yeah, no. And that's what I'd, touch base on too is, yeah, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to be like, hey, I'm struggling today. I'll call my friend Brooke or my friend Skylar, and I'll say, guys, I'm struggling today and I need you to put me in check. And they're like, all right, lay it on me, and vice versa. That helps, and there's no shame in that. If anything, I think it's attractive when a guy, says, I'm struggling, or, one of my best friends is like, I'm having a hard time. Like, that is very brave and honorable that you're open to saying, I need help. What can I do? How can you guide me? What resources, what tools can I use?
and it's wonderful to have friends that look to help us without judging us.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Your inner circle, your inner circle is really important. I only have a couple friends and I'm so okay with that. Quality over quantity. I want to make sure that I know what I give in a friendship or a relationship, and I want to make sure that that's given back to me. And it's rare. I give a lot, but the people that I do have around me might be few, but they give just as much as I do. And it's this constant ebbs and flow. I give, you give, and it creates a deeper connection and a solid bond,
And that's very important. I mean, I mean, when I lived back in Brooklyn, I had tons of friends, but when I think about it, they truly were not real friends.
Mm-hmm.
But here now in California, I have two really good friends that I can really depend on. And like what you said, I call, I'm actually struggling. Can you help me? So, yeah, I mean, and it's great to have, someone like that. And even with some of my clients, every now and then we all chat and yeah, and that's important. And, we all help one another and that's how it should be.
Totally. I mean, life happens and like, we're not supposed to be perfect.
No.
And if we are, then man, you're, tell me how you do it. But, we all have something that we're going through and something that we could use help with. Yeah. It's just about,
yeah, it's just about doing it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What I know you've accomplished a lot. I know you've been in college, you're working, you're writing your book, the book is now published. What is the most thing that you're most proud of that you've done?
I would say my ability to really just slow down and reflect.
Mm-hmm.
When I was young, I was so full of like anger. And in relationships, because I didn't have a good relationship with myself, and I was angry that I wasn't skinny enough, or I wasn't pretty enough, or perfect, I'd take it out on those relationships because I was insecure. And it would build and it would build and it would build, and I wouldn't say anything, and then I just blow up. And I think now it's weird. It's so different when I'm dating. I kind of just sit back and go, take some notes in your head, and you go, okay, I just sit and reflect rather than reacting, and that has helped me a lot in my life, in work, in friendships, with my family, and in relationships, to just sit back and go, okay, what do I think about this? Do I really feel this way, or do I just feel this way in the moment? And then reacting. It's okay to look at someone and say, I need a second. Or you know what, I'm going to go. I need a second. That's okay. It's showing respect for that person and respect for yourself. And so I think that's one of the things that I'm most proud of, is just being able to sit and reflect. And also just my willingness to grow. I'm blessed in the sense that I'm very self-aware of what my flaws are. And I want to change those. I want to improve those, I can't perfect them, certain things I'll probably live with and struggle with for the rest of my life, but every day you can get up and try, and every day is a new day. So yeah, I would say that's what I'm most proud of.
Yeah, and that's a lot to be proud, because most people react right away instead of taking a step back or pausing. Because
Yeah,
once those words come out of our mouth, we cannot take them back.
no, and it's the worst feeling.
Mhm. And then we feel sorry, we feel guilty, we feel
Yeah,
shameful. There's all different type of emotions. But if we would just to pause
yeah.
and maybe just take that moment to stop, maybe it's not as bad as we think it is.
No, and it's like even getting other people's opinions, like, hey, this happened and it ticked me off. What do you think about it? What are your thoughts? Talking to people, not just anyone. You don't want to get advice from people who are drama or, but someone that you really value who is wise to you. Ask. And then think about it.
Mhm. And even, I feel even when we get into arguments with a friend or a spouse, it's important to pause.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It is.
So have you learned to do that now with new relationships with men and with anyone else?
Yeah. Um, and it's interesting because I think I told you I'd let it build and fester and I
Mhm.
wouldn't say anything. I just keep it in and pretend to put on a face. And people can pick up when you're not being authentic. They can pick up when something's wrong. Your energy is not the same because you're not being you. Um, and now it's just different. Like I'll nip things in the butt. If something's bothering me, I'll be like, all right, listen, you're gonna think I'm annoying, but I'd rather just nip it in the butt and get out of the way.
Mhm.
This kind of bothered me today. And like, I don't want it to keep happening in the future. Is there anything that we can do to work on this to move forward so this doesn't happen again? You know?
Mhm.
And then it's like, okay. But then it's like, cool. Like Courtney felt like she could speak up and say how she felt.
Mhm.
And now you've created a bond that's closer because you both feel comfortable to say how you feel and there's no consequences with it. And I think that's something I've learned too is no, don't give consequences. You know, you have to let people be where they are, and people can only meet you where they are. So if
Mhm.
they're not respecting you and you've mentioned it time after time and they're still not doing it, know that it's time to leave.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because then it's just it's very draining,
Mhm.
and it uses up a lot of our mind thinking of how we can change this.
Mhm.
When in actuality, you're probably not going to be able to change it.
No, I mean,
Mhm.
if people want to change, they'll change. And if you
Mhm.
mention it once or twice and it's not happening, you have to sit back and reflect because if you let that problem stay, you're going to be dealing with it 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, and so on and so forth. So it's something that you really got to sit back and think on and, nip it in the butt, see if it changes.
And saying what you feel is important.
Yeah.
I I mean, I married 52 years. We know each other a very long time.
I love
And but when people ask me, how have you stayed with one person this long?
right.
Well, number one, I've known him for 56. But I think our main reason why we've stayed this long is
Yeah.
communication.
Yes.
And that's the key,
Hmm.
how you feel. Maybe I don't like what you've done, but I'm not going to say, well, I don't like what you're doing. Sit
Yeah.
down and talk about it.
Hmm. Yeah. It's like sitting down and telling someone, how was your day? You
Mhm.
know, you just got to talk like that. And I think it's the tone too.
Yes.
Don't talk down to someone. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. Make someone feel safe and comfortable. Like they can be like, all right, like I hear you, Court. I'm going to work on it.
Mhm.
You know,
That's so important that they do
yeah,
feel safe, because
totally.
if they feel that we're looking like somewhat to verbally attack,
Hmm.
they're going to attack back.
Oh, yeah. And it causes lying and it causes, you don't want that. You want your partner to feel like they can come to you.
So let me ask you something.
Yes.
You're 23 years old now, right?
No.
And what what advice would you give to your 18-year-old self if you were back at 18?
I would say don't put all your value. Um, and all your worth is, it's not based upon men. Don't let a man, validate you. You validate you. I always was looking for men to validate me. Tell me I'm the prettiest one. Tell me I'm the sexiest one. Tell me that I have the best personality. I'm the funniest, the coolest, yada, yada, yada.
That's huge.
You're supposed to tell yourself that.
Mm-hmm.
And that really affected me. I lost myself in these men because I would do anything. I wanted them to think I was perfect. Nobody's perfect.
No.
And that was the biggest lesson for me, is learning to like me.
To you.
And it's still something to this day that I struggle with from time to time, not as often or as much, but from time to time I do, I'll be honest. And I think it's in general, making sure you just validate you and your beauty and the inside and the outside. Mm-hmm. Social media doesn't help.
No.
Looking at all these Instagram models and, people's lives, it doesn't help. I think you just have to kind of shelter yourself and celebrate all the wonderful things about you. Because if you validate you, then others can pick up on your confidence and, see like, wow, she really sees her for who she is. That's attractive to people. But yeah, so I would say if I could give any advice, it would just be, make sure you validate you before anyone else, and just be. Mm-hmm. Don't think about the future. Don't let your past relationship affect your present relationship. I did that a lot because I was scared that this guy was going to end up being like the last guy, and then it ruined the relationship. You just got to let it be and enjoy it. Because again, life is short. We don't really know what tomorrow holds. So would you rather know you spent it obsessing and freaking out and yelling and screaming and all this? Or would you rather just be like, life is good. I woke up today. I had a bed to sleep in. I had food on the table. It's celebrating the little things.
The things that we take for granted.
Yeah.
And a lot of us do. I've noticed a lot of people. Yeah. I mean, when it rained out, when we had that pouring rain, it was so cold outside. I said to my husband, oh my, I feel so bad for these homeless people. It's like, but thank, we have a roof over our head, heat in the house. Like you said, food on the table, clothes to wear. And so many people are they don't have that.
Yeah.
They don't
and
have
I think so many people focus on the present moment and what they lack. I went through a phase where I was being so ungrateful. And I remember I would literally journal 3 times a day what I was grateful for.
So getting back to your poems, what are most of them about?
Most of them are about love, because I tend to lose myself in love. I wouldn't say I do anymore, but I did then. About my relationship with myself, the self-sabotaging, and really just the healing, getting over the breakup. That was hard for me. And you'll see where I am really struggling, and then where I'll do better, and then where I'll struggle again, and where I thought I got over that guy, and then a hiccup comes and I'm like, oh man, I didn't, And I think you'll see me beat myself up a lot. And I think that's one of my biggest regrets, is how much I beat myself up and blamed myself. While there were things that I did make mistakes in, it takes 2 to tango. And I never acknowledged the mistakes that they made as well, So I think it's realizing that it wasn't just me. When I read the poems and I reflect back, I'm like, are you insane? It wasn't just you that day that you did, when you messed up, remember what they did?
Yeah.
So I think you'll just see a lot where I'm really hard on myself. Yeah.
And do you feel that a lot of teenagers would probably most likely relate to that? Because actually, even at my age, in the 70s, we're still hard on ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, I had my friend Jen reach out to me, and she was like, oh, Courtney, you have me in tears. This reminds me of what I went through when I was your age, and I was like, really? And she's like, yeah, I experienced a lot of those things, and it's kind of cool to see people open up, and relate, because these things do happen, and it's important to know not alone.
Hmm. So how many poems are actually in your book?
Oh my gosh, I think like 113.
Wow.
Some of them are journal entries, but most are poems.
So
Yeah.
mostly poems. So at
Mhm.
what age did you begin writing?
When I was 15. Yeah.
And what
During,
happened at the age of 15 that,
that was my first love, my first boyfriend. Um, yeah, he was special. Um, yeah, and I think that was just the beginning of where it all happened. After the breakup, or in the multiple getting back together, then breaking up, getting back together. At such a young age, I was carrying relationships that you would carry when you're in your 20s, which is
mm,
crazy to think, but I was. I mean, he was, older for his age, and I was older for my age, and it's like you got kids having relationships at such a young age, and that relationship affected me for a really long time. It really was the first relationship that led into my other relationships and made me really insecure.
yeah.
There was a lot of insecurities
Mm.
on both ends in that relationship. Um, yeah.
Did- Do you still, maybe, do you still hold any anger towards the men that actually caused you all this pain?
Truthfully, I don't.
Oh, good for
I
you.
did
Okay.
I did for a really long time. A
Hmm.
really long time. I would say like after my last relationship, I held anger for probably like 3.5 years.
Wow.
I mean that, yeah, my last relationship really broke me. Like I thought that was it.
Mhm.
And I laugh when I say that because I'm so young, but like in that moment, I really thought that was it. So when it didn't work out, I was angry and I was upset. But no, I don't hold anger anymore, and it
Good.
feels really good. Um, yeah, I actually, it's a funny story. I actually ran into my ex um, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago.
Oh, uh-huh.
Yeah. Um, and it was the most freeing feeling ever. I never thought I would get over that relationship and felt nothing. And I'm not in a mean way, but I
Mhm.
knew I had finally healed. It's like you think you've healed and then you run into them and you're like, oh my gosh, I did not heal. I still have feelings there, you know.
Uh-huh.
And when I went and that happened, and I ran into him, it just was the best feeling to be like, all right, Court, like you did it. It's
You
done.
did it.
It's over.
Mhm.
Like new chapter, you know. That felt really, really, really good.
And it was it because you let go of the anger, or was it more that you finally found yourself and the confidence within yourself?
I would say it was both.
Both.
Um, I think I had just finally, worked through the trauma that it caused me, and forgave. And I had just come to a point where I was like, really look at this person. You know, is that really where you want to spend the rest of your life, living in fear, feeling insecure, not trusting that person? Because there are people out there that you can trust. Um, you know and I was just like, I think one day it just kind of clicked, and I was like, no, like I don't want to feel that way anymore, and if you make me feel that way, I don't want to be with you. um and I think it was just having more self-respect for myself. Like I want someone who really, I feel like, respects me, and if they know I have insecurities, is a little more gentle maybe with certain things, as I would be for them if they were insecure about something. um
You think most men don't understand?
I think most men, and I don't mean this in a mean way, I think they just need you to spell it out for them. I think sometimes as women, we can be guilty of expecting them just to know. And the second they don't know, you're like, oh, excuse me? Like, how did you not know what I was saying? You know, and
Uh-huh.
we all work differently. And I think that's what you need to understand and communicate with your partner is, how do you work? Do you know when I'm upset? Or do you only know when I tell you? And if
Mhm.
they tell you that they only know when they tell you, then you have to respect that and be like, hey, this really ticked me off today. That's the only way they're going to know.
Be honest. So let me ask you a crazy question.
Ask me,
What
ask away.
what would you tell these men today if
Oh,
you probably have a lot to say.
no, I could get so emotional. I would say thank you.
Uh-huh.
I would
Oh,
say thank you.
okay.
Um, it made me so much stronger, um, and more confident than I've ever been. Again, do I still struggle with confidence? For sure, but not on the level that I did then. I don't think I would have forced myself to grow if something traumatic like those events wouldn't have happened. So again, like, I'm grateful. Like, if I saw them, I would say thank you. And like, I mean it, like, thank you. Like, it hurt like hell and it broke me, but it brought me and turned me into who I was meant to be and supposed to be, you know. I like helping people. And here I am now, you know, I wrote a book, you know, hopefully to help people and just let them know, like, you're going to get through it. It's going to be okay.
Yeah, it's like anything else, you know, sometimes we need to be broken in order to move forward.
Totally.
And realize.
Yeah, so I would say thank you. Yeah, genuinely. Don't get me wrong, it took a long time to feel that way.
It did.
A very long time to feel that way. But yeah, I would say today, I would say thank you.
But you did it, and that's the most important thing, that you finally, you know, moved through it. How many men did you actually write about in your book? I mean, you're only 23 years old, so I'm curious.
I know. Well, I would say I think I wrote about nine or 10, which sounds like so many. But it obviously was over the course of 5 years. Obviously, it's mainly about one, which was my last relationship. But yeah, I mean, some of these guys were just fantasies. I was like, I had the biggest crush ever on them, and it just never worked out, you know, whether because they were with someone already, or, you know, they didn't feel the same, or vice versa. And some of them are people that I dated for a little while. Not that I wasn't even necessarily in a committed relationship with.
Right. So this may be a little far-fetced, but can you actually read one of your poems?
Yeah. Okay.
I would love to hear something.
Do we want where I was struggling with self-love or relationship?
Well, show your book. I want you to show your book. Oh, it's so stop painting red flags white. You're not crazy. It's the truth, though.
Yeah. No, it is. Okay. Do we want
read anything you want to read?
All right. Let's see. Where's mine?
Do you have a favorite poem, or?
Yeah, I have one here. Where is it? Somewhere. All right.
And your book's on Amazon, right?
It is. Yeah. No, it's on Amazon. Okay. So here it says, "The end. I'm finally starting to break free. You no longer have control over me. It's time for me to walk this new life alone, because I asked you to pick me, and in your hesitation, the answer was shown. I don't know why you do this to my heart. It's like you run towards the finish line to me, then stand there without crossing, afraid to start. I want to be chosen, and it puts a knot in my throat that when you had the opportunity to, you wouldn't. You stayed silent. You stayed frozen. I wish you the best. I mean this with everything in me. I truly do. Just sucks the vision is no longer me and you. So I officially turn the page and wait to see what this beautiful new life has in store for me. Though my heart still hurts as I write this, because I wanted us. I prayed for answers. I prayed for this. But God had a different plan in store, so I must go on. I must close this door. I love you, but this is the end. It's time for me to break free and choose me. Goodbye, my love."
Wow, that's powerful.
Thank you. Yeah, that was part of the healing right there for sure.
I can imagine. I mean, to turn around and say that you're done, because really that's what this was all about. You finally said, I'm just done with this.
No more. Yeah.
Do you think people hold on to relationships that are failing a little too long?
Yeah, I do. I think a lot of us are afraid to be alone. I was guilty of it. From 13, I started dating boys. 13 to 18, 19, I jumped from relationship to relationship, boy to boy, because I didn't want to be alone. That terrified me, because when you're alone, you have to face yourself. And if I date you, I can forget about it, and I can lose myself in love and lose myself in you, rather than facing the truth, which is, I'm struggling. I'm having a hard time with myself. I need to learn to like myself.
Do you think some guys actually don't like themselves also the way
Yeah,
women do?
totally. And I think guys would even benefit from reading my poems too, especially men. Men are looked down upon if they don't express their feelings. It's such a shame that that's the way the world views it, because I think it makes them look so strong. And I think they just don't feel like comfortable enough to talk about it.
And it's such a nice thing to see when a man gets emotional.
Oh, it's everything. It melts my heart. It makes me love them more,
Yeah.
When you can be vulnerable like that, because it shows that, one, they really care, and two, they know themselves. Like, they know that they are strong, but they also know that they can tell you when they're struggling. Like, that's incredible. Like, sign me up. I'm there.
No.
But it's rare. It's hard to find. So when a man can do that, it's big. That's huge.
It is.
And it's something that they should never be shamed for. And it upsets me that sometimes they are.
Well, that's because, most men feel that they need to be, macho and strong and,
no crying.
Yeah, exactly. But when a man cries and shows emotions, I think that's true strength.
Totally. Yeah. It shows that, like, hey, this is what's going on. This is me being real, and raw.
Which is a beautiful thing to do. So let me ask you, what advice would you actually give to young girls today, that are maybe looking for love or just looking to better themselves?
Yeah, I think when it comes to looking for love, I would tell them in the very beginning, when you're getting to know that person, don't ignore the red flags. I have been so guilty of that over the years. And I'm grateful that I was guilty for it then, because now it shows me like what to look out for, and then I can recognize it like right away. But you have to remember, little things that start to annoy you in the beginning are going to end up being really big issues later on. And if you can save yourself from it in the beginning, I highly suggest it, because it's hard to get out once you're entangled. You want to stay, you want to make it work. I think it's all about being upfront about your feelings and what you're looking for in a man, and what he is actually looking for in a woman, to see if you really energetically match. But that's hard at that age. You're young. It's hard to be that vulnerable and have those mature conversations. But I would highly recommend it if it's possible, because the right ones will want to talk about it. And I would also just say, like, be gentle with yourself and don't force anything. If someone wants to be there, they'll be there. Yeah. And if they don't, it's not a reflection of you. It's not something that you did. It's not something that's wrong with you. It's just where they're at in their life. They can't meet you where you are. And don't take anything personal, I guess I would say,
Exactly. And the thing is, women and men need to know that they must be treated with respect. If you have somebody who treats you a little narcissistic, it's not right.
No, it's not right. And get out and go, because nobody deserves that treatment at all,
And there's a lot of people that stay in a relationship because they're afraid to actually move forward.
Oh yeah,
and they
I have to be alone. I don't have somebody to sleep next to every night, or someone to fight with or talk with. Like, fight with yourself. Pick you.
Yeah, and the thing is, they that's where a lot of the self-confidence is just broken. Because you could say, well, the sky is a beautiful blue, and they say, no, the sky is black, and you need to listen to what they're saying. And then now your self-esteem, your confidence is completely broken.
Yeah.
Did you actually, were any of your relationships narcissism? And was anyone a narcissist?
Yeah, I actually could read you the poem. That was about one. Yeah, I dated one guy. It was a terrifying thing. Yeah. Here, I'll read it.
Reading it. Oh, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I'll find it somewhere in here. And it's funny because I went with a different title, but I almost named it Letter to a Narcissist. Let's see. Somewhere in here. If I could find it. Sorry, give me 1 second.
Oh yeah, no, I can't wait to hear it, because there's so many women out there that are married to someone or
Yeah.
a narcissist, and
Yeah.
they're afraid to walk away because now they think everything is their fault, when in actuality it's not.
No. Okay, where is it? Okay, here it is. Okay, so it's called Runner Up. I tell him I don't like many. I'm picky, stubborn, hard to please. But 2 weeks in and he's made it past my cut. Got me wrapped around his fingers, praying on my knees. I like this dude. I don't know what it is about him. And I don't want to admit it, but I want it to work out. The thing is, he knows he's getting inside my head, and he likes having the power. It's filling my head, my heart with doubt. He says his douchebag days are long gone, and he's a good guy now. When I'm around, I truly believe it. But I fucked up last weekend and messed up the vision. Now he's wondering if we can even achieve it. I said I was sorry. Can we please just leave it in the past? But instead replied he's keeping me at arm's length, treading with caution. But my God, I just want things to last. For the last week, he stays making me pay for it, making plans, then canceling on them, keeping me at a distance. If only I didn't make that one mistake, I tell myself. I swear he would have kept up with his persistence. This man is rare, and so am I. The thing is, we both know this about one another. But we're so damn stubborn and like-minded. When summer comes around, who knows what'll happen with each other. I like you, blank. I really do. I just hope you'll stop letting your pride take over your feelings and let me come through.
Wow.
Yeah, you can see where
Wow.
I didn't really realize
Mhm.
that he was a narcissist until after. So when I read that, I'm like, oh my gosh, like you were dating a narcissist. Like, look at the way, and it was scary. I'm so grateful it didn't work out. But it really, he had me fooled, and had it in my head that I was the one making the mistakes, that I was doing something wrong,
Mhm.
That was hard.
Well, and the thing is that with a narcissist, they're so kind and loving and everything at the beginning,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden something switches.
It just changes, and you're like, who is this guy?
Who is this
And then
person?
you're staying because you're like, but I know like that guy, the other guy's in there, and maybe he's just, you start making excuses.
Excuses.
And that's the thing, don't make excuses.
Yeah, because it's not your fault. It's who they are.
Yeah. And there's no changing that. Yeah.
No. And we need, women or men need to acknowledge that. That if you're married to someone like that, or dating, or if there's somebody like that in your household, you have to, I mean, if you really can, you must walk away. Otherwise you're broken for a long time.
Yeah, that stuff messes with your head. So the second you see those warning signs, just politely exit. Not the last guy you're gonna date.
No. Or if you're married, you need to figure out, I feel you need to have a plan, of exiting.
Yeah.
You can't just pick up and leave. But then some women, do,
yeah,
that are very courageous, say, I'm done and I'm out of here. And I give them credit, if they're able to do that.
Yeah, it takes a very strong woman, 100%. It takes a lot of willpower. It's not easy.
No.
Not easy to get out once you're in it.
No, it's not. So, a question. I mean, are you actually now dating somebody? Have you found love? Do you feel, or is it, coming?
I am currently dating someone. It's not official yet, but I have been dating him for a couple months now. He is incredible. He is a really good man, and he's a gentleman. And things just flow very easy when we're together. So it's really nice, and I'm looking forward to it, and I'm excited to see, what happens there. Who knows? But regardless of what happens, I'm just grateful he even came into my life, because it shows me that like that is possible, and there are genuinely good men out there that you trust. Trust is a big one for me. So finding that in someone is incredible. It's the best feeling in the world, feeling safe.
Safe, I think, is probably the number one thing. Safe and trust
Yeah.
that, what they say is who they are.
Yeah.
Because
And someone that just shows up for you,
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that they're not looking to, cheat or, things like that.
Yeah.
Trust
No,
is
it's so important.
huge. Mhm.
Yeah. Especially in this day and age,
It's hard.
social media makes it so easy to look the other way or stray. And it's like, you got to keep yourself focused and know what you want and really
Well,
know that person.
and yeah, and see, if there's something in them that you don't want,
Yeah.
then don't stay.
Don't stay.
Don't stay.
Like, you're not going to be alone forever. Don't stay.
Mhm.
You know.
So let me ask you, what advice would you actually give to some young girls today
Hmm.
that are actually looking for love and may not have found it yet?
I would say be open. After my last relationship, closed myself off for a couple of years. I would go on a date and say I was open, but I wasn't really open. So I always say stay open. People can grow on you. I, for instance, am someone that grows on people. I'm very shy at first, so it takes a while to get to know me and to see if you like me or not. It can be the same with men. So I would tell women to be open. There's no harm on going on one date. Doesn't mean you have to go on another one, but that one date could be your person. You don't know. So I would say be open, and I would say go to all events, go everywhere. Don't sit at home. Like, I made that mistake the first couple of years. I'd stay at home and I would shelter myself because nobody was him, and I was never gonna find someone better than him. Um, and that's so far from the truth. Not that that guy wasn't a great person, but there's a lot of great guys out there. But you don't know if you don't put yourself out there.
Yeah,
So I would
exactly.
just be open, focus on yourself, because the better the relationship with yourself is, you'll attract someone who's on that same level, if that makes sense.
Oh, it
You know,
does. Mhm.
you will. So I would just say keep doing self-improvement and keep yourself busy and just put yourself out into the world. Like, the universe will respond to that,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always say, we need to put it out there that you're looking for someone,
Yeah.
and mention the qualities, in
Yes.
the person.
100%.
Mhm.
There is nothing wrong with saying what you want.
Mhm.
Absolutely nothing wrong. That's how you get it.
Yeah.
You don't vocalize it, how can anybody know?
Have you ever wrote affirmations to that? And I'm curious.
I have, actually. And what's funny is I wrote one, and 2 weeks later, or no, sorry, not 2 weeks. It was like 3 days later, I met the guy that I'm dating now. So that was funny.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, I mean, if that gives anyone hope, write them. What do you have to lose? If anything, it's just a reminder of what you want.
Of
That's all.
what you want. Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah.
Boy,
Life is funny.
you are truly an old soul, let me tell you.
Oh man, thank you.
Yeah, wow, truly, truly an old soul, because someone your age does not have all this knowing, I feel.
Thank you.
Do you
Thanks
think
a lot.
that you get all those messages from above? Do you listen to your intuitive abilities?
Yeah, I really try to. I mean, I'm a big overthinker, so sometimes that can come into play and be a little tough. But yeah, I would say I'm pretty intuitive. Yeah, my gut's rarely wrong. So I would suggest people listen to it. You don't need an explanation. If something doesn't feel right, it's not right, and listen to it. Don't ignore it.
Which is so important,
So important.
very important. But so show your book again and tell everybody where they can get it.
Yeah, you can get it on Amazon.
So Stop Painting Red Flags White. You Are
Yeah.
Not Crazy by Courtney Goff.
Yes,
Wow.
and if you go on my Instagram, there is a link that'll take you right to it.
What's the Instagram? What's the
It's gonna be Courtney with 3 Y's and then Goff, my last name, so Courtney Goff.
so it's COurtneyYY.
Yes, COURTNEYYYGOFF.
On Instagram.
Yes.
Is it in Barnes and Noble and there yet?
No, it's so funny that you're mentioning that. I want to try and get it over into Barnes and Noble. Yeah.
Yeah, well, maybe you need to do some more podcasts and get on some shows.
Great.
I mean, that book is unbelievable, and it's so heartfelt, and
Thank you.
it's truth. It's how you felt, and you put
Mhm.
it out there. You should be so proud.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's very freeing. It feels like a new chapter of my life now that it's out there. It's
So, is
very.
there another book in the workings?
There might be. There isn't currently, but I have had some thoughts on creating a self-help book to help women or men, whoever, get through you know, struggles, whether it's through a relationship or, the way they view themselves.
Well, start doing it.
Yo.
Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
go for it. But all right, so just say the name of the book again. It's on Amazon.
Stop painting red flags white. You are not crazy. It's on Amazon. If you go on my Instagram, there's a link right to it.
Well, Courtney, I thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It
This
was
has
such a
been
pleasure.
so my pleasure. Believe me, it's been so enlightening. I mean, even at my age, so I wouldn't know what to do if all of a sudden I had to go out there and date. I probably wouldn't be dating anymore, but
It's hard.
it's hard. I know. But again, thank you so much. And a big thank you to my listeners, for listening. And again, a huge thank you to Courtney Goff. And I hope you heard what you needed to hear. Again, thank you, for listening, and visit me at motivateyourlife.net. And please subscribe to the Spiritual Warrior Coach podcast. You'll have amazing, guests such as Courtney and so many other people. We're also on Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio, tons of different areas. And these guests are just they're pure gold, all of them. So please listen. And for anybody wanting to learn energy healing, I'm just going to show quickly my book, Gentle Energy Touch, The Beginner's Guide to Hands-On Healing. That's also available on Amazon. So again, thank you so much for listening, and have a beautiful week filled with love and with light. Love, Barbara.